Peter Schiff is the CEO and chief global strategist of his brokerage firm, Euro-Pacific Capital. Through this broker-dealer company, Peter Schiff's portfolio has grown impressively in the last couple of years. In this video, we'll do a deep dive into what's in Peter Schiff's new portfolio. Make sure you stick around to find out some of his largest holdings and what he has been buying and selling recently. As of the end of the 2022 third quarter, Euro-Pacific Asset Management had a total of 60 holdings, with the entire portfolio valued at over $380 million. In the third quarter, he added shares of pharmaceutical industry company GSK plc and I-80 Gold Core. Euro-Pacific Asset Management bought 222,010 shares of GSKW, a company with a total market value of over $6.6 billion. GSKW now makes up 1.74% of the portfolio. For IAUX, a company with a market value of $5.6 million, Euro-Pacific purchases over 3.2 million shares, bringing the company up to 1.48% of the portfolio's total holdings. This quarter, Euro-Pacific didn't go overboard adding new companies to their holdings, and instead chose to invest a little more in adding to their already present stocks. The largest change in shareholdings was the BTC iShares International Treasury Bond ETF, IGOV. Euro-Pacific increased their holdings by a whopping 27% and 4,241 shares. This increased IGOV's percentage of the portfolio from 0.15 to 0.2, and Euro-Pacific now owns 19,788 shares of IGOV. The second largest addition to the portfolio was a 26% change of shares in finance company FEMB by 10,790 shares. This was followed closely by a 17% increase in shares in both Van Eck Merck Gold Trust and Bloomberg International Treasury Bond. Many investing enthusiasts might refer to Schiff as the gold master, thanks to his track record of being consistently bullish on gold. Schiff definitely loves his gold and does not hide that in his investments. In fact, about 46% of the holdings in his portfolio are exclusively in the materials sector, majority of which specialize in gold. Other stocks that were added to the portfolio include AEM, BTG, FSM, PAAS, and SKM. If you take a close look at these additions, you'll find that Euro-Pacific really focused on strengthening its holdings in the finance and materials sector, with a few increases in the utilities and telecommunications sector as well. Back in 2021, Schiff appeared in an interview with investment analyst Jay Martins to discuss how he prefers to invest and put his money to good use. When asked what he thought about investing during inflation, the Euro-Pacific CEO said that investing on borrowed money during inflation could be either a big win or loss, depending on how investors play their hand. Schiff often emphasizes the faults of the US government in policy making and artificial pricing, especially in inflation. The Euro-Pacific founder then went on to say that he prefers to invest in countries that are more economically vibrant and have more sound economic fundamentals. He said,
"I like to buy income-producing assets in countries that I think have much sounder economic fundamentals, which is why I'm not buying in the US, I'm buying stocks outside the US.
This actually holds true for Schiff and his portfolio, even several months later. It is easy to spot in the many purchases that Euro-Pacific made this year, including its largest purchase in GSK, which is a British company, Agnico Eagle Mines, Fortuna Silver Mines, and B2 Gold Core, which are all Canadian companies. In the interview, he also shared that he has invested in many businesses in Asia, Australia, across Europe, South America, and New Zealand. Of course, the CEO admitted that no countries are perfect, but he was willing to build a diversified portfolio, strong enough to withstand whatever happens in the market. He also emphasized that the US is in a uniquely vulnerable position as the world's reserve currency, hence why his portfolio diversification was primarily heavily focused on non-US businesses. Schiff also explained that he especially puts his money into companies that have a lot of resources, and not necessarily just natural resources. The stockbrokering expert emphasized that he was only on the lookout for companies with real value and man-made resources. While Euro-Pacific increased holdings in some companies, it is not surprising to see that the portfolio cut back on quite a number of stocks as well, and sold all of their shares in a few as well. It seems some companies that were first bought in Q2 did not perform as expected, and were immediately sold off mid-Q3. These included all shares in Kellogg Co., energy companies Sasol Limited, John Hancock Financial Opportunities Fund, and Silvercore Metals. Euro-Pacific also sold all of the shares of Nomad Royalty Company, an investment company in mineral exploration. This was after holding over 240 shares in the company since first purchase in 2021 Q4. Although Euro-Pacific didn't close out on any other companies, there were drastic reductions in shareholdings across several companies and sectors. For example, the portfolio saw a whopping 42% drop in shares for Diageo plc, a leading company in the distilleries and wineries industry, with a market cap of $108 billion. Although steep, the drop is understandable, as there has been a general decline in DEO stocks earlier this year. This is largely due to the weakness in the broader markets, thanks to increasing supply costs, rising interest rates, and disruptions in the supply chain. Other notable reductions are the 39% drop in healthcare company Novo Nordisk, 10% off Canadian National Railway, and a 5% reduction in Shell holdings. There were also very minimal reductions in many businesses across the energy, materials, utilities, and telecommunications sectors. Schiff has revealed that he is not a fan of investing in companies that only promise sky-high future success, when in real time they are actually plummeting. The Euro-Pacific strategist said he only wants companies that are making money and paying dividends in the present, and have the tangible potential to continue to do so. With a closer look into the stocks that dropped in his portfolio these last 3 quarters, this school of thought does hold true, as you start to see shares reduced with companies that are not doing as he expects them to, when he expects them to. In Euro-Pacific's 13F filing for Q3, we got to see that the portfolio didn't make too many drastic changes with their major stocks. The largest holding by market value and percentage of portfolio is the 0.093% ownership in Barrick Gold. Schiff first bought into this company back in the 4th quarter of 2019 and has since steadily maintained shareholdings in it. In the recent 13F filings, there was a very insignificant change in shares. About 3,163 shares were dropped, bringing the new total to 1.65 million shares of Barrick Gold stock. By the number of shares held, Vista Gold, Fortuna Silver Mines, Ambev SA, and B2 Gold Corp. The second largest stock holdings in the portfolio by market value is BTI, British American Tobacco Industries. Euro-Pacific first bought ownership into BTI back in Q3 of 2019, which was around the same time they bought shares in Agnico Eagle's mine, the 3rd largest holding on the portfolio. The other top stocks in the Schiff portfolio include Unilever, British Petroleum, Newmont Mining, Shell, and Osisko Gold. If you're watching this video, then chances are you're looking to get more insight into how exactly Schiff thinks when investing, and what he would recommend. If so, the Goldmaster's advice has always been the same: buy gold, crude oil, and agricultural commodities. According to Schiff and his infamous doomsday approach to investing, investors need to look outside the US and invest more overseas because, as usual, something big and bad is coming. While Schiff's school of thought and investing method will always have its supporters and opposition, our advice remains the same as well. Ensure that you do your research first and always understand the companies you choose to invest in. With that, we have gone through Peter Schiff's new portfolio and given you an insight into how the corporate master of gold loves to run his business. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more financial content. See you in the next one.